Tough story coming out of Northern California from the Capitol. Sacramento shooting leaves 6 dead, 12 injured. Officials say should have had harder gun crimes on the books, and that would have stopped this shit from happening, right? And it has nothing to do with the crazy person who probably committed this. Anyways, 6 people were killed and 12 were injured after gunfire erupted in Sacramento. Sorry, I'm just so used to crazy shit happening and saying San Francisco, but it was Sacramento's downtown area early on April 3rd, officials confirmed. This was one of the few stories. It sucks that these people are dead and the other ones are injured. Hopefully they make full recovery. But yeah, this was one of the few stories that made any sort of headlines over the weekend. Officers located at least 15 shooting victims, including 6 who are deceased. Those numbers don't add up. Anyways, Sacramento Police Department stated on social media, adding that the incident unfolded around 9th and K. Later, officials told social media outlets that 12 people were injured. So 15 shooting victims, 6 are deceased. It turns out 12 people are injured. Numbers. Officials also announced that downtown streets located near the site of the shooting were shut by police as an investigation continues. Authorities did not provide detail about the suspect or suspects or a possible motive. Video that apparently captured the scene showed a group of people attacking one other as several gunshots were heard in succession. And I tried to find information or literally anything about the suspect in this one, and we still have nothing to go on even a couple days later. Police have been patrolling the area at about 2 a.m. when they heard gunfire. Sacramento Police Chief Kathy he's abroad, said at the news conference. When they arrived at the scene, they found a large crowd gathered on the street, and 6 people were dead. Another 10 either took themselves or were transported to hospital. She said no information was given about their condition. It's a very complex and complicated scene, she said. Lester issued a plea to the public asking for witnesses or anyone with recordings of the incident to contact police. As for the rest of California, it's kind of a hit and miss. As to like gang activity and stuff, you know the obvious places, but Sacramento, I'm not terribly familiar with their violent crime statistics. I know it's the capital, and normally capital cities they have that reputation for a reason. So it's tough to say if this was just some kind of a stupid drive-by shooting. And the fact of the matter is, this was 2 o'clock in the morning. It was probably some fucking beta. Had some dude hit on his chick or some kind of stupid gang shit. And then all of a sudden, somebody decides to fire sideways out the window at everybody who's there. But I thought there were like 9-round magazine restrictions in place in California. How can so many people get so shot? If only there were 3-round magazines, or you just got rid of guns. That would have stopped a crime from happening, right? Barry Accius, all right, who works with Sacramento's Voice of the Youth, told news outlets that he arrived at the scene at 2:30 a.m. What good are you there? A lot of victims with blood. No shit. Just watching some of the families that didn't know that their loved one was alive, running, trying to figure out what happened. People distraught, people discombobulated, Accius said. It was just horrific. That guy uses very expensive words, so he's just there to grift on the situation, let's be honest. Kay Harris, 32, said that she was asleep when one of her family members called to say that they thought her brother had been killed. She said she thought he was at London, a nightclub on 10th Street. I don't need specifics, never gonna go there. Harris said that she had been to the club a few times and described the place as for a younger crowd. I'm going to throw out the gang theory shooting because that seems to make sense. We're just going to express my shock and sadness. Yeah, that's fine. Mayor Daryl Steinberg wrote in a Twitter post. That's wonderful. But you know who I want to hear on this one? Because another one of his shootings since the beginning of his reign that resulted in a lot of fucking people shooting. Another one of these mass shootings that never really happened in the prior, about 2020, prior to that, okay? Prior to the Summer of Love. Didn't really happen all that much from about 2016 till about 2020. All of this shit was a little bit too silent, and then, all of a sudden, what? You had, one in Colorado, the Coomer shooter in Atlanta, hashtag, stop Asian hate, right? Chicago, what? Like, just as many people die over the weekend. Don't need to talk about them because that's just black on black crime, right? The fact stands that the statistics got brought up, and I might as well just talk about this for a second before we go into what good old Uncle Joe had to say about this. But in the year of 2021, and my support for the police is tenuous at best, because they're still the ones, okay? The ones who do a good job should be supported. But these are also the same people who are going to be out there kicking your door down, making sure that you're all wearing your mask and that you're all fucking four times boosted. Is that what we're on at this point? Sure thing. So police are still going to do dumb stuff if they're told to do dumb stuff. But 101 officers shot in a line of duty that year, a real crisis. 17 of them died. Yeah, 17 officers were killed by gunfire. 101 were shot. Yeah, man, that seems to be a lot. Maybe it's... Yeah, the farthest that they go back to cite is... Well, it's a 43% increase since 2020, and then a 63% increase since 2019. So that's a lot, but hey, you know what? You got Law and Order Joe there. I support we need to fund the police. That's nice. But again, like I said, if we just would have had harder gun control laws on the books, it would have stopped this. And that's all that Joe is asking, right? He responds to the Sacramento shooting by pushing existing California gun controls. We need harder gun control laws. What's that? They're already on the books in California. We need them again so people remember they're on the books. And then that'll stop criminals from committing crimes, right? Because what's that old thing? A bike lock is only going to stop an honest criminal. Yeah. Sammy the Bull Gravano, the guy who was fucking responsible and took the heat for 19 murders, may or may not have pulled the trigger on every single one of them, but was at least instrumental in planning each and every one of them. What did he say? What's one of his famous quotes? Bad guys are still going to get the fucking weapons that they're going to need to do the job. Okay? Criminals are still going to commit crimes in order to get guns, okay? And to be fair, though, to take the other side on this, there would be no murders ever, okay, if we just got rid of guns, right? It's because nobody has ever stabbed anybody. Nobody's ever ran anybody over with a vehicle, which facilitated the shooting as well and the escape on that one as well. Nobody's ever, like, bombed a Ariana Grande concert or anything like that. No, of course not. Guns are the only problem in this scenario. If it wasn't for the gun, nobody would have died, right? Don't blame the criminal, blame the gun. Retard responded to the Sacramento shooting by pushing gun laws in the state of California that are already in place. Cool. Breitbart reported 6 people died between 10th and J Street. I thought that was K Street. Different outlet, different reporting, whatever. CNN quoted Sacramento Police Chief Kathy Lester saying, "We know that a large fight took place just prior to the shootings. Somebody's ego got bruised in front of their woman. I will fucking throw down money on that. And we have confirmed that there are multiple shooters." Okay, cool. So that would explain why so many people were shot, okay, in rapid succession. This is a beef. This is a fucking gang beef. Fox News observed Biden responded to Congress pushing to pass more gun control. The president said, "Ban ghost guns." Do you really think a club beef escalated into a shooting and the weapon of choice was a ghost gun? I guess the brain that's in your head isn't the only ghost that's in this story. There's nothing going on between those ears anymore. It's tough to see. Require background check for all gun sales. That's literally what every fucking state has. Ban assault weapons and high capacity magazines. You don't even know what was used. It's probably a handgun. That's what happened. That is the weapon of choice for a multitude, an overwhelming majority of mass shootings. Repeal gun manufacturers' immunity from liabilities. Yeah, cool. And because so many people die of the heart attack and obesity complications, you should also be able to sue the Lay's potato chip company. That's that same energy. Pass my budget proposal. What, more money? Okay, cool. So you would have went around to every one of those victims and shoved a $100 bill into their fucking gunshot wound? Cool. Which will give cities more funding. They need to fund the police, fund crime prevention, intervention strategies that can make our cities safer. Sure. Tell me exactly how that would have stopped this from happening. Just a few steps Congress urgently needs to take to save lives. California already bans ghost guns. California requires background checks for all gun sales since the 1990s. California has banned assault weapons since the 90s and bans high-capacity magazines. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 9 at most. it's a very odd number because you need a specific stack or tag or something for the. I'm not really a gun law person, anyways, but I'm pretty sure it's a 7 or 9 round mags. That's all you're allowed to have for your firearms that are out there. Shall not be infringed upon, right? Sure. Gavin Newsom is also pushing to allow private citizens to sue gun makers. Ugh, it's retarded. So yeah, that's the state of the politicians that are out there. Horrific tragedy happens. Instead of trying to get to the bottom of it, just make law-abiding citizens carry the burden. Makes sense, right? Don't address any of the, actual problems that are there. Again, we don't know more until we figure out who the suspects are, but come on, we already fucking know. Anyways, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.